Good morning and welcome to Fort Zeller Elementary School. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful Wednesday yesterday. Today is Thursday, February 28th, 2019. It is day 4. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, please remember that it is still Read Across America Week. And as such, don't forget that Saturday, which is March 2nd, that is Dr. Seuss's birthday. Today, hopefully, you are dressed in a shirt from a place you visited, because we are celebrating that famous book called Oh, the Places You'll Go. If you haven't checked out that book, definitely check it out. It's really worth reading, and hopefully it'll inspire you and get your imaginations thinking about all the great things you will do too, and all the great places you'll go when you get older. Now, because Saturday is Dr. Seuss's birthday, we are going to celebrate tomorrow as Happy Birthday Dr. Seuss Day. So wear red and white to celebrate. And if you haven't already guessed, red and white kind of looks like one of his most famous characters, the Cat in the Hat, right? So wear red and white to celebrate Happy Birthday Dr. Seuss Day, which will be tomorrow. Now, before we kick off the rest of this day, please consider our new character trait, which we are going to be talking about all the month of March. I know today is February. We're kicking it off just a little bit earlier. And that word is honesty. Hopefully you remembered the PBIS assembly yesterday where we started with the Mindful Minute, and then I introduced the word honesty to you, okay? And as one of our second grade friends reminded us, honesty is telling the truth. And as I also shared with you, telling the truth, it seems easy, right? I mean, what you see is what you report. But as we all know, it isn't always the easiest, especially if maybe telling the truth might make you look bad, right? There are times when we make a mistake, when we might have made a poor decision even. And when you are asked about it, you might have that inkling or that temptation to fudge the truth a little bit, to stretch it out, maybe lie about it, and hope that you get away. Well, I'm telling you this. Tell the truth. In the end, it does make you feel better. That doesn't mean you won't get in trouble if you did something wrong, but you will have an opportunity to be trusted still to fix it. So, and you know what? I think we all would love to have that opportunity. So don't forget about honesty. That is a character trait we are highlighting all the month of March. Now, also, we are still participating in the Friendly February Kindness Challenge. Don't forget that yesterday's challenge was make uninterrupted time for your loved ones. So that was something that I challenged you to do at home. I'm not sure if you remembered to do it at home yesterday. Hopefully you were mindful enough to do that. Let me share with you this. I've been staying late in the office because I've got a couple things I've had to take care of. And my loved ones, my family, actually came to the office yesterday evening, and we got to sit down and eat a meal. And I turned off my phone. I put it off to the side. I sat away from my computer. And I really just enjoyed time with my wife, my 6-year-old, my almost 4-year-old, and my 7-month-old baby. And that was uninterrupted time that I got to have with my family. Hopefully you had something similar at home yesterday. Also, don't forget our 3 expectations here at the school are: number 1, be respectful; number 2, show that you are responsible; and number 3, show that you are ready to learn. Again, be respectful, be responsible, and show that you are ready to learn. Again, the B-Bucks Cafeteria Challenge is still in effect. Unfortunately, the cafeteria monitors did not feel like yet again that our classes, that any class had deserved an extra B-Buck. So our standings still remain the same. Miss Moore and Miss Gruber's class are still in the first place position. Miss Yiser and Miss Frederick's classes are in the second place position. And then Miss Eshelman's class is in the third place position. Again, do what you have to do, okay? This isn't just about the competition. It's all about what we do for ourselves. Are we mindful about being respectful? Are we mindful about being responsible about the trash that falls on the floor or is on the table? Are we being responsible enough to pick up after ourselves? Are we showing that we're ready to learn, or ready to line up, or ready to do anything in the cafeteria with our volume? Okay, think about those. Be mindful. I know you can do it. I encourage you to continue to do it, just as I did yesterday. Now, at this moment, I encourage you to join me for the Mindful Minute. And just like yesterday, we're going to focus on focusing. We're going to do a focusing exercise yet again. We will focus on an object. Go ahead and find an object at your desk, okay, right now while we talk. Okay? Find that object that you're going to study, and we will start with a breathing exercise first, and then we will then study our object and be really present and mindful with that object. I will wrap up by sharing a little mindfulness challenge. Yeah, you heard that right. A mindfulness challenge. And it's something you can do at home. It's something perhaps your teachers might even challenge you to do later on this week or even going into next. Okay? So right now, hopefully you've chosen something to observe. I'm going to go ahead and observe my thermos. But before we do that, let's go ahead and center ourselves. I invite you to close your eyes. You may, if you don't feel like closing your eyes, you may simply lower your gaze and focus on a part of the classroom or a spot on the floor. And as we always begin, take one breath in through our nose and then out through our mouths. Notice the quality of that breath and whether you can make that breath feel better, more deliberate, more intentional. So let's try that again. In through our nose and out through our mouths. Allow yourself to notice where you are at this very place and time. Notice all the distractions around you, and then turn your attention right back to the intentional thoughts of your breath, to the intentional thoughts of how your body is supported by the chair, how your feet are supported by the floor, how gravity has pulled you down and anchored your entire being. Now I invite you to open up your eyes and pick up that object that you want to study. Yesterday I studied a cotton ball, and that cotton ball will make an appearance in just a minute. But today I'm going to study my thermos, and you may choose what you want to study. Go ahead and study that object as if it was the most important thing in your life. Notice everything about it, the parts that are exquisite and beautiful, the parts that are flawed perhaps, the colors, the nuances, the shape, in my case, the amount that it might be carrying inside. It's not full. You may begin now. You know, it's interesting. You have seen me, most of you guys have seen me walking around with this, and yet I have never actually been mindful enough to really study the imagery on this thermos. I never actually noticed, and I'm actually really surprised that I didn't notice this owl and the two colors on the various sides on the two sides of its face. You know, it's little things like that mindfulness can help us notice. You might have seen me try to smell this metal can, but I actually noticed this kind of a hint of coffee. And it actually hurt my feelings. I noticed that there was a little dent right here. I must have dropped this thermos somewhere and didn't realize that I had dented it. So mindfully, I have really gotten to know my thermos. Now, here's a mindfulness challenge. Okay, you may have remembered that yesterday I studied a cotton ball. This is what I want you to do. Perhaps your teachers can help you do this one day. Study a cotton ball or study something else. I've done this challenge with raisins. They all look kind of the same, but then when you look at each and every one of them, they are uniquely different. Because after you take time studying them, in this case, throw them back into the bag. And if you really knew your cotton ball in this case, hopefully you can pick it out. Or if you had raisins, if you studied that raisin and you got to know it intimately and you really knew every little tiny detail about it, when you threw it back into a pile of other raisins, guess what? Maybe you just might have an opportunity to pull it out. So anyways, go ahead and close your eyes for just a minute. Notice yourself again. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Lower your gaze if you do not want to close your eyes. Notice yourself, and in just a moment you'll hear a bell or a chime. Listen to it as it gets quieter and quieter. If you can't hear it anymore, you may slowly then open your eyes and awaken to the world around you. Welcome to a new day right here at the fort, where you are loved, where you are cared for, and where we want you to succeed. Whether you have a great day or not is ultimately your choice. Choose wisely, work at it, and enjoy the rewards. And at this moment, please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll step out of the frame for just a moment. We will recite it, and I will come back and share with you the new kindness challenge for the day. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great job. Thank you. Go ahead and have a seat. I want to share with you our Friendly February. It's the last day of the month. Our Friendly February challenge, daily challenge for kindness, okay? And here it is. Be gentle with someone you are inclined to criticize. I know that sounds like a lot of big words. So when you criticize somebody, that means you're trying to find everything wrong about them, okay? This often happens with those friends of ours that we may not like as much for whatever the reason is, okay? We encourage all of us, me included, to be kind and compassionate to each other. And sometimes we just have to be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more intentional when we run into those friends that we have a problem with, okay? And it's easy to come up with all those reasons why we don't like him or we don't like her, okay? And those are criticisms. Every time you say something about somebody else that you don't really like, that's called a criticism, okay? You can whisper that word to yourself, criticism. It's a fancy word for saying things that you don't like about somebody or what they do. And it's easy to do that, okay? When you see somebody you don't like, we all have that tendency to want to do that. So when tackling this challenge today, be gentle, be kind, be really compassionate. Find those things about them that, actually they're not all that bad, that maybe I kind of like that part of that person, You don't even have to say it to them, okay? Certainly don't tell them that you like to criticize them. That's not exactly kind. But today, be gentle, okay? Tell yourself all those things that perhaps that person you don't always get along with is actually pretty neat about, okay? And if you can do that, and it's harder than you think, but if you can do that, you have met the challenge for the day. And with that, let me send you off to a wonderful Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, and we'll wrap up this wonderful week. But today is Thursday. It's Friday Eve. Make it a wonderful day. And as I always like to say, the choice is yours.